In this video, I'll be going over the advanced search system. A previous video showed the quick filters sidebar and the results screen. This video will show how to assemble advanced searches that get you the result sets you need. It will go over operands and query structure and saving and loading searches. I'll also be showing how to combine the quick filters sidebar and the advanced search. I'm on the customer search page. To start an advanced search, click the blue Advanced Filters button on the bottom left of the search sidebar. This will bring up the advanced search menu. The main screen we're brought to has the current filter list. At the moment it's empty. At the top right, the Add Filters button lets us start building our query. At the bottom, the blue Apply button takes our query and executes the search. In the top left, the trash icon clears our filter list to let us start over with a new query. The server rack icon on the bottom left lets us save and load our queries. I'm going to go to the Add Filter menu. Clicking the Add Filter button brings us right to the full list of filters the search supports. New filters will be added regularly, and you can submit filter requests to Daemon by emailing support@daemondms.com. Each of these tabs is a category of filter. Clicking on the category header will open the list down. I'm going to start by assembling a query that would be possible with quick filters. Let's find all records with names that match William and with any address, primary or secondary, in France. In the Customer Record tab, there are two filters I need: the Customer Record Name filter and the Customer Address filter. To add a filter to my query, I will click the plus button on the far right of the filter row. Clicking the button gives me a notification telling me the filter has been added to my query. I'm going to add the two filters I mentioned and click the back arrow in the top left to return to my query. As you can see, the two filters are now in my query. Filters have a universal structure that's important to understand. On the left side of the filter, there's information about the filter itself. There are so-called meta inputs in line with the filter text that let me change the function and target of the filter. A filter can have any number of meta inputs, and they can take multiple different forms. A meta input can be a free text input, a number input, a selection dropdown, a daemon object selector, a switch, and more. On the right side of the filter, there are main filter inputs. These main inputs can be of the same type as a meta input, but affect the values the filter is searching for instead of the filter's search mechanism itself. On the far right, an ellipses button can bring up a context menu that allows you to delete and duplicate filters. On the far left of the right side of the filter, an operator button lets you change the matching style of the filter. Clicking this button opens a context menu with a list of possible operators. Every filter can have different operators depending on its function. To complete my search for William from France, I'm going to enter William into the full name filter and choose the fuzzy operator. Then I'm going to select any on the customer address filter, then country code, and enter FR into the main input. I'm going to leave the customer address operator as equals because I know that FR is the country code and I expect an exact match. Now I'll click apply to see the results of my search. There are 14 customers that match my query. As before, I can use these results just like any other search result. This means I can make a population selection, open a record, etc. Importantly, I can also use the quick filters on a result set that has already been filtered by an advanced search to look through the results. I'm going to go back into the advanced search menu to expand my search. Let's say that now I want to find Williams, but I know that I also want Williams from the US. This requires a discussion about operands and order of operations. Between the two filters in my current list, there's an implicit AND operator. I'm searching for Williams and French addresses. In set logic, I'm taking the intersection of the set of records with the name William and the set of records with an address in France. The new search I want is all records with the name William and the set of all records with an address in France or an address in the US. The OR operator is found under the operands header, along with the group and AND operators that we'll be needing soon. I'm going to add an OR operand. Going back to the list, I'm going to duplicate the customer address country code filter and click and drag on the bars icon to place it after the OR I added. Now I'll click apply to show you an issue with the query we just created. As you can see, there are many records in this result that don't match the name William. We ran into an order of operations issue. The OR operator is called a greedy operator. OR takes precedence over AND, which means that this query is returning the set of customers that are named William from France, combined with the set of all US addresses. I can solve this by duplicating the customer name filter and placing it after the OR, but I'm going to use this opportunity to show you another operand of Daemon, which is the group. The group can be thought of as a pair of parentheses that surround your filters, enclosing any operator and forcing a known order of operations. To add a group, go to the full filter list and add the group filter. The end filter is necessary here too, and it's necessary for any operand that creates a group. The group filter can be thought of as an open parentheses, and the end filter can be thought of as the closing parentheses. Going back to the query again, I can drag the group filter to above the first country code filter. As you can see, all the filters inside the group are indented out to show their group designation. Any number of groups can be nested in each other to create queries. Clicking Apply, you can see that the order of operations problem is fixed. Every result is correct. There is one other type of group, the Omission Group, that does the same thing as a regular group, but it takes the inverse of the set returned inside of it. If an Omission Group has one filter that returns all US addresses, the Omission Group's result will be all non-US addresses. I'll add an Omission Group around my entire query and click Apply. As you can see, every record except those named William in US or France was returned. Let's save this search. I'm going to go back to the Advanced Search menu and click the server rack icon. A context menu with two options comes up: Save Current Search and Load Saved Search. I'm going to select Save Current Search. Clicking this opens the Save Search page. I can add a name, choose an access scope, and click the Save icon. My search is now saved. I'm going to clear my search, click the server icon again, select Load Saved Search, and click my saved search. It's immediately brought back to the filter list. Now I'm going to start showing another piece of the advanced search system that's important to know. There are some cases where it's important to understand the advanced search's object aggregation. By default, when returning results, the advanced search aggregates by customer ID. This means that each filter is forced to return a customer ID, and every operation deals in customer IDs. A filter searching for a customer's full name yields a customer ID internally, and filters that search for objects inside of a customer's record, like an address, also return a customer ID by default instead of that object's ID. The system is specifically designed to automatically convert filters that return object IDs, like an address filter, into a customer ID, so that you don't have to deal with complex data type conversion for simple queries. In the majority of cases, this is the behavior you want and expect. In some cases, though, not understanding this fact about the system can lead to unexpected results. I'm going to design a case that will demonstrate this. I'm going to create a new customer record and give it two names. Names are both objects, so the advanced search name filter returns a name ID, which is then converted to a customer ID. In the first of the two names, I'll put FN1 into the first name, which stands for first name 1, and LN1 into the last name, which stands for last name 1. Into the second of the two names, I'll do the same thing except with 2. Going back to the advanced search menu, I'm going to add two filters. The first will be for a customer name, and I'll put FN1 into the main input. I'm going to duplicate this filter, change it to a last name filter, and put LN2 into the main input. Technically, this case doesn't exist. There's no name in this installation with a first name FN1 and a last name LN2. When I click Apply, you can see that the advanced search returned my created record anyway. This lets me introduce the aggregation filter. An aggregation lets me explicitly assign an aggregation for a filter. I'm going to go back to the advanced search, go to the main filter list, and add an aggregation and an end filter. Going back to my list, I'm going to move the aggregator to the top of the list, choose Name, and Apply. The result that was there before is now gone. The old result is not incorrect behavior. Rather, it's behavior that doesn't fit with my current requirements. Adding the aggregation filter allows the advanced search to aggregate by object ID. Since both names both existed and were both on the same record, both name filters returned the same customer ID and were therefore included by the AND filter. With the changed aggregation, the name filters were allowed to return name IDs, and the AND filter excluded them. When searching for information about a single object, it is necessary to use an aggregator. This is especially important to understand while searching for individual transactions using multiple filters. Now you should be familiar with the basic and advanced functions of the advanced search, and the pieces of the advanced search that could cause your queries to return results you hadn't expected before. The filters for subscription model, subscription series, subscription start and end, product sale contains, and many more should all be intuitive. They all use inputs you've seen before and operators I've shown in this video. This advanced search system is incredibly powerful and should allow you to find, select, and manipulate customers in your installation with ease.